welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to do a black lip look. I was feeling especially grungy today, and I'm definitely an all black everything type person. And I'm always looking for a good excuse to put on a good black lip, and while I'm not going anywhere, I figured this would just be a fun look for that people could do, and for those who want to know how to wear a darker lip. And yeah, it makes your teeth look really wet too. Which is always a plus. Gives you some weird like butthole lips though, like not cute, but still fun. Hope you enjoy, and if you do, please subscribe below. Thank you for watching.
So I will be starting out by priming my face with Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm in Sensitive. You will just use about a dime size amount and rub it all over your face and rub it in until it feels nice and tacky. That way your foundation has something to stick to. I am then going to be using the L'Oreal True Match in W7 and just put it on my face. I typically just use small dots and kind of try to evenly proportion everything on my face and decide where I will need the most coverage, and that area will get more foundation. Then I'm going to be using the Morphe M439 brush to blend everything out. I will be using a combination of pushing it into my skin and also using a brushing motion at the same time. My face, when I was in Mexico, did get a lot darker than the rest of my body, so I am using a lighter foundation to compensate for that, but I promise that it does match my neck. But I will be sure to go and get my hairline really well and bring everything down onto my neck nice and tight. That way everything looks very seamless and like it was meant to be that way. I will then be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in medium. I will be putting it underneath my eyes in a wing-like pattern. I don't really know why. Also up my nose, on the center of my forehead, upper lip, and in the middle of my nose. I will then be using a damp beauty blender to blend everything out. I do use back and forth motions underneath my eyes. That way the concealer won't settle into fine lines throughout the day. I do like to use the damp beauty blender as well because it absorbs excess product, and as you can see, I did put quite a bit down there because I do like a really bright under eye. You don't have to use that much. That is just a personal preference. And then I'll go ahead and blend out the rest of my face. That way everything is nice and evenly highlighted, and then I'll go back and hit the edges of the highlight with my foundation brush to make sure it's a very seamless blend. I will then use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in Light to set my face. I will be using the banana powder to highlight over all the areas that I did highlight. That way I do keep the brightness in that area of my face. That way you won't have wasted your time putting on the highlighter. Then I will be using the Cover FX Matte Setting Spray in the lightest shade that it comes in with a Real Techniques powder brush. I always transfer the product into the cap. That way I can gauge how much I'm using and tap off the excess from my brush as I go. So I set everywhere that I didn't set with the highlighting powder that I used before. So basically the outside of my face. I will then be moving on to my eyes. I will be using the Urban Decay Naked Basics 2 palette. I will first start off with the shade Cover using the Morphe M330 brush. I will use this as my crease color, and I will just blend it out very nicely with a combination of back and forth motions and a good circle motions until everything is very seamlessly nice and blended out. Now you can add more product as you see necessary, but I just wanted this as a nice transition shade, and it is kind of like a grayish beige color. I'll then be moving on to the color Primal, and I'll be using the Morphe M139 brush and focusing this color mostly on the outer edges of my eyes. That way I create some dimension. It is a slightly darker shade than Cover is. That way it adds a very nice transition and everything seems really seamless and not so chunky, but still gets the dimension that you want. I'll then go ahead and curl my lashes. I always do this before I do eyeliner because I tend to smear it up my eye and then it just kind of messes your day up. Then I'll be using the Maybelline Eyestudio Gel Liner in Blackest Black with the Morphe B11 brush. I'm going to be using this brush because I'm going to be using making a small wing today, just on the outer corners of my eyes. I use my lower lash line to create the bottom part of the wing, and then I will connect that line to the upper portion of my eye and then fill in the triangle I just created. If you do have a better way to do it, I'm like, please let me know, because I do sometimes feel like my wings turn out a little chunky. Anywho, I will be moving on, and I will be using the color Undone from that same Naked Basics 2 palette with the Smashbox pencil brush to just hit my lower lash line. That way it creates more dimension on my eyes and just kind of makes that lower lash line pop a little bit. Then I'm going to be moving on to mascara. I'm using the Maybelline Volumizing mascara in black. This is one of my favorite mascaras, but it's not my favorite until couple months after I buy it, because I like it best when the formula starts to get a little bit thicker, because when you first get it, it can be really, really hard to use, especially with how I put mascara on, and I really hate when I have to go back and get all the little dots off. It's really irritating. Anywho, I will just go ahead and hit my bottom lashes as well. That way it opens up my eyes, that way I still do look awake and not quite so dark with all the cool tones I just used. Then I'll go back to the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit to contour my face using the Lorac contour brush that came with the Lorac contour palette. I use the top corner of my ear and the corner of my lip to create a direction for my contour, and I will just go ahead and use that middle shade in the contour palette to do that. And then I will be using another Morphe brush that I'm not quite sure the name of right now, but I'll list it below, to go back and blend out that contour I created, and also contour my forehead to balance out the darkness and lightness in my face. And then I'll be moving on to blush. We're using the Morphe brushes blush palette with the Dusty Rose with the Morphe brush, the M553. Hit that on my cheekbones. I never really do it on the apples of my cheeks, just because I want to look more awake, but I'll then highlight my face using the Becca Press Shimmering Skin Perfector and Opal with the Real Techniques blush brush, and then I'll blend everything out with a Morphe M442 brush. And then I will be moving on to my lips. I will be using the Wet n Wild Megalast eyeliner in Blackest Black to line them. I won't be overlining today, but I will use the eyeliner to even out the shape of my lips. They are pretty uneven, so on one side I do have to overline just a little bit to make everything symmetrical. But overall, I'm just using the eyeliner as a guideline almost for when I go on and put on the liquid lip. I also just add a few lines and down the middle and on the sides of my lips to ensure that there is symmetry and I can adjust accordingly. And then I will be going in with the Lime Crime Velvetine in Black Velvet. First, I will be outlining my lips with it over the eyeliner that I just used to line them, and then I will go back and fill it in. This is my favorite black liquid lip. I feel like it lasts the longest, and I also feel like it is the most pigmented black liquid lip that I've found so far. I'm always on the lookout for a good one, just because I feel like black is a really hard color to pull off, especially when it isn't super pigmented. It looks patchy and it almost just kind of looks like you didn't put that much effort into it. So the more pigment, the better, I find. And after that, that is pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe below.